Welcome to today's Zoom at 10. Normally, of course, a Zoom at noon, but we have a special schedule in the upper school, and we wanted some student leaders from community service here at Columbus Academy to join us. So welcome. I'm John Warren. I'm the Director of Admissions and Tuition Assistance here at Columbus Academy. And as you know, today we're talking about community service with Ms. Christy Bening and student leaders who will be introducing themselves in just a minute. Before that goes on, I want to mention just a couple of opportunities to come and look at the school and check us out. We have the next Zoom at noon is actually January 8th, talking with Alyssa King about Columbus Academy's summer program. And then that's the 8th. Then we're off for Martin Luther King Day, and then we're back on January 22nd. I'll be speaking with John Exline about tuition assistance here at Columbus Academy. We have a couple of opportunities for you to come and visit the campus. Of course, the Zooms at noon are online, but we have a couple opportunities. On Wednesday mornings at 8:30, we have what we call Viking Visits. And this coming Wednesday, the 20th, we will be focusing on lower school. So it's a chance to have a group tour and meet with some administrators and teachers here at the school. And then after winter break, January 10th, Wednesday, January 10th, again, 8:30, middle school, upper school will be the focus. So hopefully you can come out and take a look. There's always opportunities for private tours as well. So give us a shout. It is now middle of December. Our application deadline is actually coming up early February. So please make sure that if you're interested, that you're focusing a little energy on applying. Well, today, getting to today, we are actually here in what's called the Shack, and you guys can, what goes on in the Shack? You guys should introduce yourselves first. I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Justin Alper. I'm the president of the service board here at Columbus Academy.
I'm Arya C, and I'm the vice president of the service board.
So the Shack is kind of like our central hub, Ms. Benning's office of sort, where we kind of meet and talk about all the service events coming up. Anytime we have something that has to do with our service board, this is kind of where everything starts before we take it to the bigger or the larger bodies, the shapers, and then eventually the whole service board that anyone in the upper school is allowed to join.
Terrific. Terrific. I'm going to actually get up. I usually don't do this, but this is a working office, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yes.
And so I'm actually going to show, I'm going to show the working nature of this office. You know, it is chock full of stuff. And we'll be looking at those things. So, I think you guys have a slideshow, right?
We do. We do.
So maybe you can, Anika is behind the scenes. If you have any questions as this is going on, please feel free to chime in the chat box with those questions. Anika will be curating those. I'm going to bring that a little closer. Can you guys read that?
No.
I can't either. I'm going to bring that a little closer to us. You guys are the stars of the show now, Justin and Arya. So we start off with the mission statement.
The mission statement. An active service reflects generosity of time, resources, and energy. It is an investment of self, spirit, body, and mind in helping to meet the needs of others. That's just kind of what we stand by and what we try to strive for.
Well, one of the things that I'd like to start off with actually is talking about how important community service is. I've been around a long time. I've been here 40 years. Ms. Bening, you've been here 37?
Yep.
37 years. And in that time, actually, I would argue one of the big changes to the school is how important community service has been now as a focus. So coming up with a mission statement, and here is our
It's an excerpt from the school's mission.
An excerpt from the school's mission statement, and indeed it says, community service.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge part. Like there's the school like partially requires it for graduation, of course, but we have tons of students who go extremely above and beyond to serve the community. And especially within the school, we run tons of events all year round. So all the stuff in here that's for serving different members of the community that don't have food on a daily basis. So it's one of the big events that we do almost every day. It's a huge part of our community here at Columbus Academy.
That's terrific. One of the things, if I can go talk about, I want to get into some of the projects and stuff that goes on, but one of the interesting pieces, I think, is the fact that Columbus Academy has a service department. Maybe the students aren't necessarily the ones to answer this. Maybe this is for you, Ms. Bening, but talk about the development of that. Many schools. Oh, nice.
Oh, there you go. A little adjustment there.
Every school has an English department and a science department and such, but Columbus Academy actually has a service department. Do you know of another school that has that?
I
Ms.
do
Bening?
not. I do not, Mr. Warden. If they move the slide ahead one, would you? That'll help it. There we go. There we are. That's the one we want. Okay. So the program started, as Mr. Warren alluded, as a model on and an outgrowth of student council. In the 90s, it was decided that the student leaders that you just met would be parallel in their election and contribution to the student body presidents. And so we at that particular point did away with all of our election process in the kind of formal way for students to model like student council. We started to make everything voluntary and bound by contract. We did that because we didn't want to exclude kids. We wanted kids to be part of our organization and to contribute as they wanted to. And now, Justin, how many kids do we have?
We have over 170 kids, almost half of the upper school student body
Right.
is registered with our service board.
400, I think there are 408 students in the student body, so
almost there.
it's terrific.
So,
It's
and we
terrific.
meet generally on Wednesday. During that time, Justin and Arya run a meeting with the kids. They run everything. They take attendance, they keep track of what kinds of events the students are contributing to. They organize the events. They just pretty much manage all of it. If you can move the slide to the next one. There we go. But they can't do that by themselves. And so within the board and selected from the board are a group of students who become part of our steering committee. They're known as shapers. And they shape what we do, but they also manage the particular events on a more grassroots level. So we have a huge number of events, as Justin alluded to. We service 3 blessing boxes at least 3 or 4 times a week that were constructed by the kids. We have blood drives 3 times a year. We have a gigantic food drive. We bake bread for Faith Mission. We have monthly visits to Faith Mission, et cetera. And the students in this picture are the ones who are organizing those things and getting students to be involved and communicating all of those things. So if you go, and there they are. And as I said, they are elected at the same time as our student body co-presidents. They are elected publicly by the student body, and so they represent the student body. And although their jobs are really different because of the work they do, their impact is significant in our community. And we think that the school, by allowing this kind of election and encouraging this, makes a big statement. As an outgrowth of this, because of the work that the service board created and does, we needed to have adults to manage all of this. And I can't do this by myself. And for a long time I did. And I can't. And for 2 reasons. One is it's not inclusive. It doesn't bring other people into the work we do, nor does it allow the other divisions to participate. And so you can see here on the far left, some kids who are volunteering to serve meals at Faith Mission. They're led by our school nurse and an eighth grade math teacher. And then over here to the right, are some kids participating in one of our 3 blood drives. And the teacher featured in the lower right is a second, actually, she's not a first grade teacher. So we have adults contributing and mentoring kids from all parts of our school community. And that's why we decided a department was a good idea.
Right.
So kind of there's where we are. Justin, you want to talk about, you and Arya both participate in this. This is a really cool thing that we do.
Yeah, so before talking about what is empty bowls there, I want to ask the two of you to talk about why you got involved in community service. You're both seniors, and you didn't start just senior year. So talk a little bit about the journey to being involved in community service like you are.
Yeah, well, for me, it started like when I was really little. My parents always instilled the active serving through our synagogue. We did a lot of different stuff, and the bar mitzvah project I had to was almost started as a requirement for service hours, but then it was kind of something that I really enjoyed and continued doing. And then I was fortunate to join the service board as a freshman, and then be elected or chosen as a shaper after applying that same year. And then I just saw the leadership and the things that the leaders when I was younger were able to do, and it just inspired me that I wanted to do more. I wanted to be able to help people in the same way that they did, and I saw certain things that I thought I'd be able to improve within the system, and so that's why I decided to run for this position and
Terrific.
go from there.
How about you, Arya?
Yeah, my mom's a teacher, and she not here, but she's a teacher, and she always did these extra things, and she would always take me along with her, and I just saw how many people she impacted by doing that. And in 8th grade, I saw a flyer for a program called Acing Autism, and I was really interested in it, and I knew I was coming here, and when I
You
did,
came in 9th grade.
yeah, I did come in 9th grade, so it's a little bit later for me, but I had a captain on the tennis team. I'm on the tennis team. She told me she was actually the president of the service board, and she told me about it, and she was like, you should really join. And so I went to a few of the events, and I joined my freshman year, and I immediately felt a connection to it, and I knew that that's like what I wanted to do in it. And like the first meeting, I knew that I was going to run for president. And I mean, I did run for president, but
That's
Terrific.
good.
No, it's great.
and now I'm the vice president, and I'm the program director for the Columbus branch of Acing Autism.
And tell them just a tiny little bit of what Acing Autism does.
Yeah, it helps autistic children connect socially through tennis. So it's every week I go and I run this clinic, and it's an hour long at a tennis club. And I actually had one last night, and it's so much fun. The kids are so adorable, and they're so fun to work with. And I have multiple volunteers from Columbus Academy that work with me, some from the tennis teams. Yeah, and it's a great time. I love it.
Terrific. So if before we get to empty bowls, the pictures there just as a teaser at this point, audience. But talk a little bit about your role as leaders. I mean, jokingly, I say, are you planners? Are you motivators? Are you bean counters? How does all that work?
I mean, we're kind of everything. We definitely, in the shaper meetings and the service board meetings, we're motivating people to go sign up, to go do those things. But we do a lot of planning involved. But our shapers are such a big part of that. It's definitely a group effort. It's not just like any one of us or
So
just us
just
two
describe the
that's doing
shapers,
it.
if you would, just a little bit. What grades are those shapers? We're a high school, and the interesting thing about this is you guys focus lots of energies on the high school, but because community service here is a Explorer program up through grade 12, you're not just dealing with high schoolers. But talk a little bit about the shapers, if you would.
Yeah, so the shapers are a small group of people who are also on the service board, but then at the end of your freshman or sophomore year, I think it's in February,
Coming up.
February, March, they can apply to become a shaper, where they take on a bigger role and they get to lead events themselves instead of course, you can participate, anyone can participate and help serve, but take on a more leadership role in the community. So you apply, and then the current shapers then vote on it. So each year, the shapers are a section of the sophomores, juniors, and seniors until the end of the year when the freshmen a few of them join us and
Terrific.
help make their mark on the community as well.
Great. All right, now, one of the questions I have for you all is, and we'll let you go in just a minute, talk a little bit about your favorite activities. As the slide there is empty bowls, maybe you can talk about favorite activities, including empty bowls.
Yeah, Empty Bowl is definitely one of my favorites, along with the blood drives that I was fortunate enough to lead when I was a shaper my other years of high school. But Empty Bowls to start is a huge project that we lead with the ceramics department, which Ari and I are both in ceramics classes, where the entire first semester our ceramics class is based on creating different bowls, where we're still learning how to do different things in ceramics, but we are also, like, the end goal is to create these bowls where they are then sold at a community event where all of the money goes towards Habitat for Humanity, where we can build a house for people who are unable to, or just help people who wouldn't normally be able to afford a full mortgage and go with that. So they have an interest-free mortgage based off of the house that we were able to build with the money that we raise from selling the bowls that all the students at Columbus Academy make in ceramics through the first semester.
And if you go to the next slide, it'll give you, so all of the money goes to fund a project called the Walls Build, which is a gigantic community event. You guys want to talk about that, or you want me to talk about it?
I think you're the most
Yeah.
qualified.
All right, so the Walls Build is an event that happens on a Saturday, Friday and a Saturday in August. It's at the Otterbein University Point. It's inside, and we buy a stack of lumber, and with some assistance from a group, we cut the lumber up and we build all the walls of a Habitat for Humanity house in about 4 hours. The walls are then taken up and stood, and generally what this does is, in addition to expediting the creation of the house, the more important thing is, as you can see in the picture, anybody can come. There's hammers and nails, and there's very little power equipment, and there are lots of adults around to help, and we just have a great time. So part of, as Justin and Ari were talking about, is with the bowls is to provide the funding, but the bigger part is to create opportunities where families can interact in a lot of different ways, and students can contribute without just having to maybe generate a large sum of money. The bowls don't cost a lot. It's at an event that serves soup. And so I think the idea is to have a lot of people involved in the community service program at our school, like the service board, rather than isolating this to a few kids who may have deep pockets or special interests.
So, Arya, how about your favorite events? I know that we're still on the wall build, but
Yeah.
Well, and if you pop up a couple ahead there, we can see there's one of the other programs we direct.
Yeah, we do Tidy Up, which is recycling for the community. So every Thursday students will volunteer to go around the school and get recycling and take it to the compactor. And that's really important for the community, specifically the CA community. But one of my favorite events, actually just things that we do, and it's kind of the entire fall, but I was fortunate enough to run it for the past 3 years. I was part of it. It's the Kids for Kids Kids for Kids food drive.
You go up about 4
Yeah.
slides, you'll see.
I love running this so much. I've
There
run
you
multiple events
Go a
in
couple
it,
more.
and it's this
more.
humongous food drive that provides
There we
multiple
go.
families with food, and there's just so many events that you can do in it, and it takes a lot of time and management from Miss Bening, who does a great job with it all and really is. She is the heart of service board.
Very sweet. Can't do it by myself.
But the shapers and they have a huge food drive team, and they all come together and create all of these events that
If you go back
just
one, have Aria talk a little bit about this.
unify
Okay.
everything.
Go back to the one with the
they
pictures with the
unify
grocery
the
carts.
entire Columbus community, and
So this is the
Yeah.
event on the far right is called what?
that's begging for cans.
Okay,
I
tell them
love
about that.
begging for cans so much. It's on Halloween night, and instead of going trick or treating, we all dress up and we go into a neighborhood right behind Columbus Academy, and we go around with shopping carts, and the week before we'll hand out flyers and ask houses to get canned food, and then we'll go to each house and ring the doorbell and grab the food and put it in the basket, and then we take it all to the school and we count it all up, and it's just so much fun because it's trick-or-treating, but it's for the good of the community, and I've done it 2 times, and it's great time. We all have so much fun. We get pizza during it, and it's like a little party, but we also have such a big impact, and we've gotten so much food for it that we struggle to put it into vans and take it back to the school.
So in this
Yeah.
upper picture at the top is what is part of this too, is that the food that's generated creates all sorts of educational opportunities for the rest of the kids in the community. So the kids in the top center are now sorting all of the food, and then they have some demographics for some families that we provide direct support for, and they will, using the demographics, create a pantry from all of the donations. And so you can see them sorting all of the food and then finding all of the food. And then we also have a gigantic clothing drive, and we do the same thing with the clothing. If you go to the next slide. Go 2 more. There we go. And this particular project is school-wide. So as Mr. Warren said, we are idiots get to go down and shop for a family and provide a lot of gifts due to the donations that are made by the school community. So all your old toys and games aren't going to a landfill or being sold. They're being distributed at no cost to families in need. And those things that aren't selected are then passed on to a variety of missions, again, to make sure that this is distributed and repurposed at no cost to someone else.
So Arya and Justin, while we've got this slide up, I wanted to ask one question. So the school has a 45-hour graduation requirement, 40 hours outside of school, 5 hours in school, if I recall.
Other way, 45 in school and
Oh,
5,
whoops.
45 out of school and 5 in
Maybe I
school.
misspoke. Sorry about
Okay,
that.
yeah.
40 hour outside and
No, 45
outside and 5 inside. So
There we
50
go.
hours.
50 in
total.
total.
Thank
Okay.
you. So part of your role is cheerleading and getting people involved. What are the challenges there? How do you make sure that you're offering enough different opportunities to satisfy everyone's needs?
Yeah, that was actually one of the big things that Ari and I talked about going into our leadership this year, transferring from the amazing leadership that was last year, is getting different opportunities and finding things that people will enjoy their service. Because Ari and I, the big thing why we love doing this is because we enjoy it. We love seeing the effects we have on people, but not everyone loves to go to the food pantry on Saturday morning or do stuff like that. So we've try to find other places that people can serve, and like Ari was talking about, acing autism, where kids can play tennis and you can do other things that isn't just, you know, hands, or like certain hands, like sorting cans and doing stuff like that.
Sure.
So try to find different opportunities for everybody.
And I think it's really been a big thing of somebody comes up to us asking us, like, I don't know where to serve. We have things that are like pre-done, like we know that these places are good places, and we can give them that list, but I also always encourage them to go out and like whatever sport they're interested in, whatever, like if they're interested in an art, if they're interested in something like that, that they look up those things, and there's almost always a service opportunity for those types of things. I know there's soccer service opportunities, there's so many different types of things. So if you really love something,
Math.
yeah, you can go
Absolutely.
math tutor in a library. There's so many different things. If you love something that you can go out and do service for it. So it's not like an obligation anymore, like a requirement for your school, but you like to do it. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I wanted to bring.
Terrific.
They've got to go.
Yes, we've only got a couple more minutes
Yeah,
here, so
okay.
we're gonna let the Arya and Justin leave, and Mrs. Bening and I will continue our conversation. Hey, guys, thanks very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you very much. All right.
There we go.
All right, CD, here we are. Got my list of questions here that I was working on we've covered a lot.
Thank you for including them. I think it's really important
Oh,
that we acknowledge the, not only the good work that the kids do, but the leadership that they provide for us in the direction.
sure. So one of the, as I think about the Kids for Kids project, I know that it's not just Columbus Academy. We actually rely on some other organizations. What I'm thinking about collaboration between Columbus Academy and the service component service program that we have here. You partner with plenty of different organizations,
yeah.
right?
So we partner with a variety, as Arya and Justin were, a variety of food service, food pantry, food collectives. So we have a deep and long-lasting or very good relationship with Meals on Wheels and Life Care Alliance, with the Mid-Ohio Food Bank and all of its satellites. All of the food that's not selected for our families goes to a pantry on 11th Avenue called NEMAP. And then we have a relationship with the Childhood League, which is a school that provides intervention and services for people who have a child with special needs and who often live at or below the poverty level. We also have a relationship with Royal Manor Elementary in Gahanna, and then we have other agencies that we move in and out of with our relationship, depending on the kids' interests. So when John's kids and my kids were here, we had a really deep relationship with the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and all of our children, they volunteered at as camp counselors for a week, a sleepover camp for kids with muscular dystrophy. So we have all sorts of things that we are involved in and encourage. And as I said, they kind of ebb and flow. Arya's Acing Autism is one of her creation. There's also a program that we've been really involved with, is called Buddy Up.
Buddy Up Tennis.
Which was started by a Academy parent, Beth Gibson. And it's no longer Buddy Up Tennis, it's like Buddy Up for Life. So they
is that
teach
right?
all sorts of really amazing skills for
terrific.
kids with Downs. And so we do our best to involve kids at every age. We have a relationship with Seeds of Caring, which is a lower school kind of program that's outside of the Columbus Academy. So lots of different things.
That's terrific. And this picture actually, although we're not going to get a chance, it's already 10:30, so
Yeah, blah, 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 that's my problem.
time flies quickly.
Yeah.
In any case, I want to just have you comment a little bit about the help that you get from faculty as in the service department, because we have lower school. This slide right here pictures obviously some younger children. Talk a little bit about. Again, Arya and Justin are here in the high school and do most of their work, particularly with the students here in the high school. But your work and the service, we're trying to encourage and promote community service at the youngest ages. Talk a little bit about how we do that and what that looks like in terms of the structure with all we have a number of faculty members who are in your department in the lower school. Talk a little bit about that if you would.
Sure. So as you saw with the service department has members again from all over the community, and then we have designated leaders in each of the divisions. And so the current kind of designated leaders, who are basically like the shaper, if you wanted to make an analogy, in the lower school are Ann Ramsey and Alicia Crane and Sarah Penny. But we also have people in the middle school. Michelle Platt's in the middle school along with Matt McHugh, and Michelle coordinates quite a few things there. Most of those at this particular point have to do with Kids for Kids, all of the various ways that we include the kids in the various drives, because one of the things we don't want to be is solely a funnel for materials. We don't want to collect them and ship them out. We want to use the materials that we have as teaching tools. So Michelle has math things that she does with the kids. In our 5th grade, when they are part of the Kids for Kids, it's all integrated into a math day. The fourth grade goes out and shops at Meijer for perishable food as part of a math and nutrition piece. And then the other grades, the younger kids are part of this kind of internal shopping that we do with Kids for Kids based on, again, the materials that we collect. And then we do have people, as you'll notice, that are from different parts of our community. We have someone from our development office who coordinates something that we do in the fall, very early. In the very beginning slide, which you don't need to go back to, we have a huge apple picking event. We go out to Lynn's Fruit Farm. We have the kids and the families, we invite them. We say, pick a bag of apples for yourself and pick a bag to donate.
It's a big community event.
It's a big community event. And the other part of my job is to coordinate the senior K-Buddy program. And so we encourage the seniors to, at the very beginning of the year, when they get their buddy, to join their buddy and their buddy's family out at this apple picking event. So that there's opportunity for kids to meet the families. There's opportunity to do that around community service. It's a pretty fun event. And then Embry Roberts coordinates that. So people from all over our community, like I said, our school nurse coordinates our faith mission program. Our first grade teacher is coordinating with the students with the blood drives. So we're doing all sorts of things. And then periodically kids are baking cookies in the lower school for faith mission.
Sure.
All sorts of things like that. How's that? Does that help?
That helps a great deal.
Okay.
Well, Christy, do we have any questions, Anika? I should quickly ask that just to make sure that I'm being respectful of our audience.
No questions.
Okay. Well, Christy, this has been lovely. Thank you for your leadership here at the school and your participation in this Zoom at noon-ish.
It's noon somewhere.
It's noon somewhere. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, for joining us for another Zoom at noon. Once again, we're going to take a couple weeks off for winter break, and we're back January 8th with Alyssa King talking about the summer program. It's always popular. And then 2 weeks after that, John Exline will join and we'll talk about tuition assistance here at Columbus Academy. So thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you next time on Zoom at noon.